The bonus level. A time-honored tradition almost as old as video games themselves, the bonus level has long been enriching the gaming experience by giving us a little unexpected extra to play. The nature of bonus levels also means they typically exist outside of a game's main canon, which sometimes facilitates some particularly interesting inclusions. Playing through a bonus level almost always feels like a reward, but sometimes it seems like bonus is just used as code for weird. It's hard to play through such odd bonus levels without picturing the game's developers hiding them in the code like so many mad scientists. While the strangeness of these bonus levels is generally quite jarring, that doesn't necessarily negate the experience. Instead, it just makes the level in question feel like something of a fever dream, embedding them deep within our memories as particularly bizarre. In these cases, the bonus we are presented with seems more like a vivid trip than genuine additional content, but honestly, who's complaining? Not us. I'm Peter from TripleJump, and here are the 10 strangest bonus levels in video games. Number 10. Lego City Destruction. Lego games. Lego games are, by definition, a little weird. They may have tapped into an unexpected winning formula by reconstructing popular movie franchises out of many colourful bricks, but regardless, it's still a strange concept. Those unfamiliar with Lego's many video game offerings might be surprised to learn that they regularly feature bonus levels that are even weirder than the franchise's general premise. The typical LEGO bonus level takes the player to a LEGO city and then tasks them with destroying it. The rough outline of these bonus levels tends to stay the same across various titles, albeit with the player characters swapped out. This has seen countless LEGO dwellings destroyed by the likes of Darth Vader, Harry Potter, and Indiana Jones. Just think of all the poor, unfortunate LEGO souls inside. In terms of tone, it's perhaps not the biggest departure from the already tongue-in-cheek nature of the LEGO games. However, it does massively break the canon of whichever franchise each respective game belongs to. That is, of course, unless the games exist primarily in the sort of canon established in the LEGO movie, i.e. it comes down to whether the games are recreations of the movies they're based on. Suffice it to say, it's complicated. We just think it's strange for a family-friendly franchise to have such mind-bending lore, and the LEGO bonus levels only make that worse. Number 9. Shooting ranges. Resident Evil 4. Broadly speaking, a bonus level is an added piece of gameplay outside the confines of the main story, and therefore Resi 4's shooting ranges fit the bill, we think. No further questions on the topic, thank you very much. Somewhere between its maniacal chainsaw-wielding NPCs and Ashley's relentless stupidity and screaming, Resident Evil 4 has something extra to offer. The game reinvented the franchise's shooting mechanics, so it seemed only right that it gave the players the chance to test their mettle, or iron, at one of its shooting ranges. However, there is something a little strange about these additional practice areas, and it's not just the creepy proprietor. Each one of Resident Evil 4's shooting ranges challenges the player to hit as many targets as possible in the allotted time. What makes this so weird, though, is the targets are all cutouts of specific villagers who can be found in the surrounding areas. Why? How? Who did this? It's unclear if the ranges were made by the villagers themselves, or if the merchant running them simply has an axe to grind. Either way, Resident Evil 4's shooting ranges are a weird and intriguing departure from the game itself, made stranger still mostly by the utter lack of context for their existence. Number 8. Is that Falcor Space Harrier? Just because the idea of bonus levels was in its infancy in the 1980s, it doesn't mean they weren't occasionally strange even back then. And when it comes to arcade rail shooter Space Harrier, weird was definitely part of the brief. The game itself features a collection of off-the-wall ideas, but it also boasts a truly unforgettable bonus stage. After a few rounds of running across a fantasy landscape shooting all sorts of monsters, the player is treated to a bonus level that shakes things up. It's important to remember that Space Harrier was released in 1985, fresh off the back of the cultural wave of the never-ending story. Though the two might not exist in the same universe, a certain fluffy white dragon appears in Space Harrier's bonus level, taking the player for a familiar ride across the sky. Space Harrier does not identify the dragon, but we can assume that for legal reasons, he's not named Falcor. The resemblance to the never-ending story character is as uncanny as it is unexpected, and it makes for an especially strange bonus level in an already fantastical game. The fact there's no context for Space Harrier's sudden inclusion of an obvious rip-off character makes it even more unbelievable. The never-ending story? More like the never-ending copyright infringement lawsuit. Oh yeah, got him. Number 7. The Gummy Ship levels. Kingdom Hearts. On paper, Kingdom Hearts is pretty weird in its own right. Mashing up the Final Fantasy franchise with beloved Disney characters was certainly a curveball, but perhaps the most surprising part is just how well it all works. Generally, the Kingdom Hearts games follow Sora as he travels to various worlds with his friends Donald and Goofy, fighting back the Heartless that threaten to consume everything. For something so colourful, it's pretty dark. Travelling between so many different worlds could have been explained in any number of ways, but Kingdom Hearts seized the opportunity to throw in a few bonus levels. Hopping into their gummy ship, Sora and friends literally fight their way through hostile space in order to reach the next frontier of their adventure. Breaking up Kingdom Hearts' friendship-focused hack-and-slash action certainly isn't the worst thing, but the strange arcade-style space shootouts feel distinctly out of place. Every time a world is completed, there's another tonally dissonant bonus level, with the gummy ship sections feeling more Space Invaders than Steamboat Willie. These particular bonus levels proved divisive, to say the least, and that's mostly because they simply don't fit with the rest of the game. Although Goofy and Donald helping a child pilot a spaceship does sound incredibly entertaining and Disney-like, Kingdom Hearts gummy ship levels are undeniably strange. Number 6. Balloon Pump: The Simpsons Arcade. Over the years, there have been many Simpsons games. In fact, we ranked them all in a separate video, so go and have a look at that if you like. Some were very good, and some decidedly less so. The 1991 arcade game, simply titled The Simpsons, was generally well received by critics, but one thing that those reviews failed to take into account was just how bonkers the game's first bonus level was. When Maggie is kidnapped by Smithers in a hot air balloon, everyone's favourite Springfieldian family see only one solution: to inflate their own giant balloons and chase after her. This apparently explains why the game's bonus level drags players away from the beat-em-up action in favour of a button-mashing, balloon-pumping minigame. Just to make everything even weirder, the level is set up like a game show, with 4 characters pumping balloons in some sort of race. It's a very odd choice when, a baby's life hangs in the balance. As if the bonus levels weren't already bizarre enough, the Simpsons family are all inflating balloons shaped like their own heads. Other characters have generic Krusty the Clown balloons, which makes a little more sense, I suppose, but the game tries to convince us that the average American family has giant balloons of their own likenesses lying around. The context raises more questions than it does answers, and it makes this bonus level about as strange as they come. Number 5. Secret Minecraft level: Borderlands 2. The Borderlands franchise is packed with Easter eggs and pop culture references, so the nature of a certain hidden area in Borderlands 2 should really come as no surprise. When exploring the caustic caverns, eagle-eyed players can discover some familiar-looking squares of dirt. Punching them into oblivion reveals a hidden area that functions as a bonus level of sorts. This little offshoot is practically lifted wholesale from Minecraft, complete with creepers and minecarts, as well as various blocks that can be destroyed for resources and loot, making it an interesting, if unexpected, distraction. Fun though it may be, this particular bonus area is pretty bizarre. In a game as fast-paced and fun as Borderlands 2, including a hidden Minecraft section was somewhat unnecessary, and it's so tucked away that most players will have probably missed it altogether. Perhaps the most unlikely development is just how well the two vastly different games actually fit together, even if it is only for a very brief moment. It may not be a bonus level in the strictest sense, but it's certainly strange in a number of ways, and that's what earns it a spot on this list. Number 4. Moo Moo Farm, Diablo 2. Blizzard's response to wild rumours of a secret cow level in the first Diablo game was simple. They hid exactly that in Diablo 2. Plainly titled The Secret Cow Level, and sometimes referred to as the objectively funnier Moo Moo Farm, the hidden level wasn't exactly easy to find. To create a portal to the land of cursed bovines, players must combine some otherwise innocuous objects and then travel back to the game's starting area. Doing so offers up the opportunity to behold one of the most outlandish experiences in gaming. Moo Moo Farm is a relatively small area populated by creatures identified as hell bovines, which are bipedal cows equipped with pole arms, and they all seem to answer to an impressive specimen known as the Cow King. How exactly he earned his throne is unclear, but the idea that farm animals could have established a monarchy is quietly horrifying. The strangeness of the secret cow level really speaks for itself. Even in a franchise as dark and fantastical as Diablo, having a hidden farm filled with violent cattle stands out as particularly noteworthy. So noteworthy, in fact, that the secret cow level is now anything but secret, that is. It's most definitely a cow level. Number 3. World 1-1, Dying Light. As far as the survival horror genre goes, Dying Light gets a lot right. It's got a city infected with a zombie virus, a number of scavenging gameplay mechanics, and shockingly scarce supplies of ammunition. It also has something you wouldn't expect to find in a survival horror game, a hidden platforming level. While exploring the city's rooftops, you might chance across a familiar green pipe. Closer inspection allows the player to enter the pipe, emerging in a three-dimensional recreation of Super Mario Bros. World 1-1. This bonus level has everything: small Goomba-like enemies, colourful blocks, and Super Mario's iconic flagpole to mark the end of the level. There are also some hidden blueprints for a wingsuit, which is Dying Light's take on Mario's Tanuki outfit. Dying Light's World 1-1 might be a brilliant Mario Easter egg, but it's also a very odd inclusion. Generally speaking, the survival horror title is a pretty serious game, so the hidden bonus level is about as jarring as if one of the zombies inexplicably looked like Bowser. In tone and in style, the two games are fundamentally incompatible, so paying homage to the classic Nintendo title is one of Dying Light's weirdest and most confusing additions. It is fun though. Number 2. It Came from Red Alert, Command & Conquer Red Alert. The Command & Conquer franchise is known for many things, but sci-fi weirdness isn't really one of them, not in this sense anyway. Released in 1996, the second game in the franchise, subtitled Red Alert, tells a fairly grounded story of Allied forces fighting with the Soviet Union for control of Europe. Then, from out of nowhere, the game offers up a bonus level stranger than everything else in Red Alert combined. The Counter-Strike expansion features 4 secret ant missions in the campaign named It Came from Red Alert. The bonus level's story is as simple as it is insane. After defeating the Soviet Union, the Allies encounter a new threat in the form of giant ants, apparently. Eventually, the player learns they may be the result of a Soviet experiment, but precious little context is actually offered for the sudden appearance of an army of oversized insects. Though Red Alert certainly has a sense of humour, it normally offers human versus human action exclusively. That's probably what makes the hostile colony of ants seem so strange and surprising, because there's absolutely nothing to prepare the player for their appearance. Well, that and the fact that they're giant insects, that's pretty strange and surprising as well. Either way, Red Alert's hidden campaign is both bizarre and brilliant, making the missions some of the most memorable bonus levels in video game history. And number 1, Car Smash, Street Fighter 2. There's perhaps no video game bonus level quite so notoriously bizarre as Street Fighter II's car smashing stage. The iconic game may have pioneered the fighting genre in a number of key ways, but that doesn't mean it's entirely perfect. As utterly bonkers as it may sound, the game's first bonus stage tasks players with taking a break from their international fighting tournament to destroy a car with their bare hands. The in-game story behind this stage involves unwanted vehicles and a car salesman charging fighters to destroy his wares, and it makes absolutely as much sense as you might expect. The world's greatest combatants then set about punching, kicking, and body slamming a Toyota to amass a few thousand points. That's it. That's the bonus, apparently. It may be a classic bonus stage from a classic arcade game, but the opportunity to rack up some extra points doesn't stop it from coming off as utter nonsense. If we were among those people who take Street Fighter II far too seriously, we'd probably lament that the world's best fighters would risk their knuckles against the shards of steel and glass. As it stands though, it is really just a strange bonus level that still somehow manages to be pretty fun.